Oh, hi! I just want to welcome everybody to Disney Month. So welcome once again to Disney Month. We're going to be talking about all of the awesome Disney animated content that we all love, let's be honest.
Disney Month?
Yeah, Disney. Come on, Gretel. I'm sure you've seen some of their animated movies before.
Yes, actually. I love the one about the boy and the giant robot.
Ah, the Iron Giant. I see the confusion there, Gretel, but that's not actually a Disney movie. It's a fair mistake.
I also enjoy the one about the two cheerleading squads with Kirsten Dunst.
Bring It On? Well, that's not even an animated movie at all, so...
And also the one where the tourists are captured and tortured.
Oh, okay, now you're just describing Hostel as like a torture movie. Okay, look, now I'm seriously doubting that you've ever seen a Disney movie before. But that's okay if Gretel's never seen a Disney movie because, luckily, we've seen a couple. I want to start by saying I love musicals. Bring him home! And I give a lot of the credit to Disney movies for getting me into theater and musicals and all of that stuff. So I want to kick Disney Month off by paying tribute to some of my favorite Disney music. Top 10 Disney villain songs to be exact. And as always, there are a few guidelines we're going to be running off before this list. Here they are.
Cheers!
And also, on my last songs list, people said stuff like, could you not talk during the songs? I actually want to listen to it. Which is very rude. However, I've gone ahead and done the legwork for those of you song demanders. So if at any point you want to listen to the full songs, just click this button and it'll pause my video, open up the full song in a new tab. You can go on over, listen to it, and then come back and finish the countdown. So there, you happy? You heathens? So with that, if you got your drinks, let's have a cheers and dive into my picks for the top 10. Ah yes, here's a good one to start things off on. The Nightmare Before Christmas.
What have we here? Santa Claus, huh?
You know, a lot of people don't know that The Nightmare Before Christmas is a Disney movie because it sure doesn't feel like one, but alas, it is. They released it under Touchstone Pictures, similar to Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because it was apparently a little much for kids. And honestly, that seems fair enough. This movie has a brand of music all its own, much different from other Disney productions, and while Oogie Boogie's song may not be my personal favorite of the film, this song is definitely the scariest.
He's ugly. I don't know which is worse. I might just...
The guy himself already gives me the willies, with his snake tongue and the way he can just unzip into a bunch of bugs. Kinda like that other super creepy guy from Men in Black who was like a cockroach wearing a dead human skin. Note to self, don't watch movies with people filled with bugs. Yeah. So what if Oogie Boogie didn't really sing too much in this song? I think his bluesy way of sort of speaking the song combined with the creepy neon roulette wheel made it all the scarier. Oh yeah, and it didn't help that he was basically torturing Santa Claus.
I'm going to do my stuff. What are you going to do? I'm going to do the best I can.
Jafar, get your hands off her!
Prince Ali, yes it is he, but not as you...
The Prince Ali reprise is certainly an awesome number, I can't deny that, but it's just so brief and it left me wanting more. You guessed it, I want to shed some light on your only second rate instead.
I must admit, your parlor tricks are amusing.
I would definitely say that this is one of the top 3 songs from any Disney sequel. Yes, the animation isn't as good. Yes, the music has a different writer. However, Jafar's voice actor has returned.
Come on, clown, let's see what you've got.
And what's most important is, the feel of this song is perfectly in line with the previous film. As Jafar displays how his powers are now far superior to the genies, we get a number that feels like a full-fledged answer to Friend Like Me, which is a lot of fun. And because they're genies, they can transport themselves into a lot of different settings and costumes, which make for a really fun scene and something that most other Disney musical numbers couldn't do. I should note that I'm a huge sucker for Disney songs that present tons of different set pieces and props, much like Friend Like Me really introduced. So, whether you like the Aladdin sequels or not, I think this number speaks for itself. Perhaps pioneered by the elegant Captain Hook, people seem to love the whole Merry Band of Thieves singing number, and I count myself as one of them. Something about seeing crooks suddenly burst into song never really disappoints, and tons of animated films have used this exact style of music number.
From the brain that brought you the Big Ben caper.
And though this is certainly a joyous and song-filled band of crooks, much like the other examples I've given, there's no mistaking what this song is really about.
Radigan, to Radigan, the world's greatest criminal mind.
You've just gotta love the opulence and outright extravagance of Radigan. This song may not be the most catchy from the list, but the Radigan factor is undeniable. I mean, for Christ's sake, he takes a break in the middle of the song to do a harp solo and reflect over his failures in a pale, dark light. And I am certainly on board with how much these pint-sized thieves are in love with champagne. And you know me, I'm never one to turn down a drink, even if there is a little rat hair in it.
I admit that in the past I've been a nasty. They weren't kidding when they called me, well, a witch.
When I first struck up the idea to do this list, Poor Unfortunate Souls was one of the first songs that came to mind. It's kind of a staple for villain songs, right? So why number 7? Well, it's certainly not out of dislike for the song. I mean, I might not be as thrilled about this song as most others, but there are just 6 songs that I simply can't put behind it. That said, Poor Unfortunate Souls is really, really awesome.
Poor unfortunate souls in pain, in need.
It was actually seeing The Little Mermaid on Broadway that solidified my liking for this song. I don't think I quite got the tone of it as a kid. I mean, Ursula is basically explaining to Ariel that she's gonna F her life right up. But she has this coy way of sweeping it under the rug.
Yes, I do. Now it's happened once or twice. Someone couldn't pay the price, and I'm afraid I had to rake 'em across the coals.
But the gem of this song really is the end when the voice steal begins. That escalating key change and the melody itself are just perfect.
Keep singing!
So, if you're looking to create a menacing and classic villain song, I'd say Poor Unfortunate Souls is nothing less than the perfect place to start.
No one's slick as Gaston, no one's quick as Gaston, no one's next as incredibly thick as Gaston.
Gaston is a breed all its own in the realm of Disney songs, for many reasons actually. This song is so over the top and fun, don't you just want to be a part of this party, swinging from the chandeliers and crashing your sud-filled mugs together? That's just a plain good time, even though the sud-filled mugs aren't quite as cool in real life. It looks so cold outside, but in this little tavern, it feels inviting and warm. And the humor of the song almost makes you forget that this is a number hailing the villain of the film.
In a spitting match, nobody spits like Gaston.
Then again, how much of a villain is Gaston really? I mean, sure, he's a womanizing asshole, but from the village's perspective, Gaston is the hero. I mean, if some unknown monster was living outside of my village and some badass hunter offered to go hunt it down, well, I'd say, go get him, champ. I'm just gonna stay around here and eat some baguettes. So I suppose it's really no wonder that the townies are happy to throw together a small, cheerful musical number for their knight in shining armor. And it's damn catchy too. Cheers to you, Gaston, and good luck killing that hideous monster. Wait a minute. As I look around the net, it would seem to me that putting Be Prepared any lower than the top 2 is some kind of sacrilege. but in truth, I just can't put it ahead of any of my top 4 in all good conscience. Having said that, who could not love this song?
My words are a matter of pride. It's clear from your vacant expression.
As Scar lies in wait to rise up and kill Mufasa and Simba, he rallies his army of hyenas for attack. And he also taught them how to play marimbas on decaying corpses. Hey, cool! As a kid, of course none of us noticed, but the goose-stepping hyenas are certainly working for the villainous feel of this number. And I just love the way they've transformed this dark volcanic canyon into a smoky green and red mysterious playground for Scar to leap around in. In theory, it would seem that a singing evil lion can't end up any other way than campy. But as we all know, Scar pounced all over that limitation with Be Prepared.
Mother knows best. Listen to your mother. It's a scary world out there.
Well, what do you know, everyone? The new generation of 3D Disney movies can pull off old school musical numbers. And thank goodness for it.
Poison ivy, quicksand, cannibals and snakes. The plague.
No!
Yes. But also large bugs.
Tangled is a film that has taken a huge step for animated films to come in that regard. And its music is certainly awesome. My favorite song from the film has to be Mother Knows Best and its reprise. Mother Gothel is a very unique villain because she's just so deceptive, and that's what makes this song work so well. Just listen to the instruments and the melody. This almost sounds like a song that a good guy would sing. And that good guy tone in the song, it just makes all the lies she tells Rapunzel all the more evil. And when the reprise comes, it's even more painful because the one connection that Rapunzel has made since seeing the real world, Gothel instantly cuts down. What a bitch! And speaking of bitch, Gothel has to be the most murderous Disney villain of all time. I mean, think about it. Does anyone realize how many people she has indirectly killed by hoarding that life flower for herself for hundreds upon hundreds of years? She's probably prevented the salvation of hundreds, maybe even thousands of lives over the years. So next time you see someone making a Disney villains countdown, feel free to raise that point. But that's okay, Mother Gothel, because you deliver one hell of a musical number.
Mother knows best.
I got friends on the other side.
Now look, I'm gonna shoot you guys straight. When I left the theater from The Princess and the Frog, I was a bit underwhelmed, to put it mildly. Something just didn't quite connect with me. But there is one thing about The Princess and the Frog that I absolutely love. And that, of course, is Dr. Facilier. I never dreamed that a Disney villain could be so high on my list of favorite Disney villains, yet come from a movie that... But I think this smile fade right before Friends on the Other Side begins is worth the price of admission alone. And despite Randy Newman's music not being my favorite...
No reason shall be begun.
Clean up on aisle vomit.
The song he has given us here is just plain gold.
I got voodoo, I got hoodoo, I got things I ain't even tried. And I got friends on the other side.
A deal at its core, this number feels a bit like a mashup between Poor Unfortunate Souls and Only Second Rate. And of course, how can we speak about this number without mentioning the color palette? Bright greens and pinks swirling about have this scene feeling so chock full of beautiful voodoo magic that even watching this on mute would still be a blast. I mean, despite being limited to just a shabby room, Facilier's number has a huge feel to it, presenting us with oodles of gags and tricks that he can pull off with his voodoo magic, and his always fun and mysterious shadow. Oh, and Keith David? Come on! Come on! Anyways, seeing a villain song happen this late in the 2D Disney game, and for me to love it this much, makes me nothing but happy. And I'm glad they swung for the fences on this one.
Like fire, hellfire, this fire in my skin.
Hey, remember that Disney song about sexual obsession and sin? And then coming to a conclusion that the only way to beat the obsession was to kill the object of said obsession. Yes, it's Hellfire, sung by our friendly neighborhood Judge Claude Frollo.
It's not my fault. I'm not to blame. It is the gypsy girl, the witch, who set this flame.
This song is nuts. As Frollo confronts his lustful feelings towards Esmeralda, he seeks to find a way to rid himself of these sinful desires. While it's both insane and awesome that Disney put a number like this in one of its movies, there's so much more to love about this song than just the sheer darkness of it. I really love the way the main chorus part of this song is a callback to the main theme, Bells of Notre Dame. So it ties it really nicely into the movie. And it has that creepy Catholic Latin church feeling to it. You know, like all those really disturbing religious images you used to see in books. Oh no! Oh no! I'd also certainly like to shout out Court of Miracles, which I would have loved to include. I think it's often forgotten in the wake of Hellfire, but it brings its own brand of darkness to the table and definitely deserves a mention. But back to Hellfire.
Hellfire, dark fire. Now, gypsy, it's your turn.
The swirling flames and faceless robed onlookers. I'd like to call these things terrifying, but it's just so beautifully animated. In truth, I actually never saw Hunchback growing up and only saw it later in high school, which is crazy considering now it's easily one of my favorite Disney films. But I never had the chance to view this song from the eyes of a child. But I can't imagine there's any way a kid would know what was going on in this song, and it surely led to nothing but nightmares. And that's a villain song done right.
Now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
In my opinion, there's only one number that stands above the others as a much more evil and hate-filled song, and I think it's a more effective villain song for the plot of its own film.
What can you expect from filthy little heathens? Here's what you get when races are diverse.
Savages from Pocahontas has to be my pick for the #1 Disney villain song. As the song begins, we have Ratcliffe calling to arms his fellow English settlers to wage war against the Native Americans, and the language they use here is truly unsettling.
The skins are hellish red. They're only good when dead. They're vermin, as I said, and worse.
Yeah, you're cringing, I'm sure. Ratcliffe abuses his men's fear of the unknown to breed hate within them, and actually have them march on to kill droves of complete innocents.
They're savages, savages, dirty shrieking devils. Now we sound the drums of war.
We can certainly draw comparisons here with Beauty and the Beast's mob song, which I really love, and I wish I could have talked about more on this list, but it captures a very similar vibe, but I believe it's done much more successfully with Savages. We are then taken to the native setting, and we begin to hear them voicing similar opinions about the settlers.
Beneath that milky hide, there's emptiness inside.
I wonder if they even bleed. They're savages.
Again, the lyrics of this song are just so hate-filled. And it's here that we're reminded that the natives' hatred is just about as misguided as the settlers. And the villain of this song and the film isn't necessarily Ratcliffe. I mean, don't get me wrong, he is a selfish dick. But the real villain is just the human misunderstanding and hatred. Yes, I do realize how cheesy that sounds. But nevertheless, the idea of hate born from misunderstanding is handled brilliantly in this song. And we certainly can't forget the scope of this thing. It is so climactic. I mean, Savages gets to full Les Mis status for a bit, where all three sides are singing different parts as they march to war and converge to one point. All the tension of the film comes to a head all during this one song. Oh man, I'm getting excited just talking about it.
It's the death of all in love carried in the drumming of.
So while it may be a bit different from the other more traditional Disney villain songs, the pure hatred felt from the two sides, three-part dueling melodies, the beautiful color palettes that Pocahontas did so amazingly well, and the climactic excitement that this song drives home all make Savages my pick for the best Disney villain song out there.
Now we sound the drums of war.
Yes, Savages, I love it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the countdown. Even if you didn't agree with my picks, that's okay. They're just my opinions. But I always love hearing your guys' opinions, so make sure to let me know down in the comments what's your favorite Disney villain song. Hey, maybe you even agree with me. Imagine that. Oh, and Gretel, it occurred to me, you can just borrow some of my Disney movies so you can get caught up and participate in Disney Month.
That would be great, Chad.
Yeah. Oh, you have a VCR, right?
What's a VCR?
Okay, thanks, bye.
Remix!
Hey, if you want to keep up with me and all the Toon-type content I'm working on, head on over to my Facebook page at facebook.com/LouToons. Oh, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Tons more updates are coming from there. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys out there in the internet. On the internet. Over the internet? Okay, I'll see you guys.